morning. My name is Simon Studer. I'm the interim CEO of Kingman Minerals Ltd. Our project is located in Mojave County in Arizona, United States. It has a past producing gold and silver mine, which was back then very high grade. It was discovered 140 years ago and basically has seen mining and exploration since then.
Simon, good to see you. Good to meet you, actually. Look, you've not been on the platform before, so it might be worth sort of helping people understand who you are, what you've done, where you've come from, and what your involvement with this company is.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm an anthropologist by training. Back then, in 2006, I was at the crossroad in my life, and then I decided to leave Switzerland for a journey discovering myself in Argentina, where I was basically living and studying and traveling for about 15 years. And this is where I met basically the mining industry in a place in the periphery where there is not much other than ruins and the mummies. Mining was really the place, and it happened to be the lithium boom back then that really brought me into this business.
Right, and tell me a bit about who you're working with, because obviously that doesn't sound like a mining background proper. So you've got this project in Mojave. Who's helping you along the way?
Yes, so in 2020, I was invested in that company from early on when the project was found, and I was basically connected with a group in Vancouver that had the chance to acquire this Rosebud Mine at a very cheap price and put that into a public vehicle and turned that into an exploration story. And I then joined the team because during COVID there were major complications, where health issues also involved. So there was a management transition. I took on first the director role, being in a passive position. And then later on, about a year ago, I decided to be more active in this company because there is just a major disconnect. There is 140 year in a 2 million market cap back then, or even less. So there is a lot of untold aspects to this story.
Right. So tell me more about the people, though. I'm interested in the people. I invest in people first. So who's helping you?
Yeah. So there is a group of very seasoned mining, capital markets, corporate individuals involved. There's 40 plus years of experience in the industry, each one of those, for everything from accounting to street smart to technical people. We have PhD Peter Bourne that has been in the mining and exploration industry forever. We have Brad Peak, also a technical person that helps me also on that. Getting the technical information processed in a specific format. He has the QP of the company as well, and he's based in the US. So we have everything from technical to corporate people to capital markets people that help me in this.
Okay, right. Obviously, like you're a small company at the moment, so therefore the insider ownership, as you would expect, is quite high, about 60% or so. Have you guys been putting your own money in? I know you've raised some money recently, $1.5 million recently, but how much money have the team actually put into this?
Yes. So we did 2 rounds of financing just recently, and basically what we did post-COVID is to do the full acquisition of the Rosebud Mine. So we put our money up, advance payments into this while we were on care and maintenance. We didn't work on the company, but just on acquiring the asset. So in the first financing we did just 3 months ago, basically advance payments and our own money was converted into that financing. And then the second financing, which was also oversubscribed and upsized from 500,000 to 1.5 million, which we have just closed a month ago, there was really then just when outside people got positioned. And I would say at that point, more than 65% came from over here, from Europe, and then the other 35% from specific individuals in Canada. So that's a great mix today, 2.1 million at this point, which cleaned up the balance sheet and also gives us all the year to do the proper exploration work in 2026.
Okay. And you described yourself earlier as an interim CEO. Does that suggest that you are looking for someone to kind of step in your place soon, or is that not something that's
Not
on the...
soon. So I'm here to deliver results, and I hope the results speak for themselves. And I think there is no better success for a CEO if you get replaced, because the project is good and they really merit the transition. We are a small junior exploration company, and we hope to be able, with our tools and our mindset, to extract value for our shareholders, which we are obviously big ourselves. But at one point, I hope there is a transition possible that just talks to the merit of the project.
Right, okay. And just sticking with the kind of corporate for now, I just want to say that I noticed some references to a couple of historic loans. I mean, how much tidying up of the balance sheet have you done? What was the state of it?
Yeah, so basically the acquisition, it was an option agreement with a private individual based in Vancouver who ordered the 20 claims to the Rosebud Mine, which was over a 4-year, if I'm not mistaken, period in installments where we did those payments to fully and outrightly own this asset. And so what we put in is probably about 150 US. So we advanced those payments to make the final payments, and then that plus accumulated basically management fees. We have converted that all into finance where forgiven debt and interest, and we just basically took that and converted it into the financing. Plus, we put up ourselves money to get to the actual initial 610 plus Canadian dollars to convert all that.
Right, okay. Well, let's talk about, if you don't mind, in a bit more detail, what exactly you've picked up in terms of any data that exists, or as you talk about a long time ago, historic producing mine. Can you just give us a sense of what you know about the asset today?
Yeah, for sure. So what we know is, it has been found 140 years ago. It was in production in the 20s and 30s of the 20th century, mostly. There was even a mill at the place in the Music Mountain area. It was a historic mining camp which contained several small mines back then. And we have records from small production. There is not much available though, but it's the references go back to 1909, where there is the first mentioning of this place and how it was discovered and how the productive veins were called. But on the other side then, there is 2 companies that have picked up the asset in more recent time, one during the 90s and the other in about 2006 and 2007. But it's particular because in the sense that they always just worked on the oxide zone, which is about 100 meters, where the high-grade veins also were basically exposed and have been mined. And the drilling never went further either down to understand the bigger kind of system, the sulfide part of the system. So we have now just produced 43-101, where we compiled all that historical information in one document. I invite people to have a look at that. And then it also outlines basically then the budget and the exploration plan going forward for the extensional drilling to get an understanding of the continuity of those productive veins along strike.
And what does the 43-101 tell us? Because I think this historic resource, I think you talked about like 660,000 ounces of gold and about 2.6 million ounces of silver, which was formerly non-compliant. How much of that have you brought into the new 43-101?
No, it's not a resource calculation or an estimate in there. This is basically just a recopilation of the historic information of the drilling that went on prior to Kingman, and then also what we did in 2020 and 21. We already had 2 rounds of drilling back then. We even tried to do a deeper drill hole back then, but then there was a breakdown during COVID. There was a cost overrun. things started to stop. There was a disconnect also seen in the market with regards to just the gold price and market would tank in general. At that point, we had to discontinue that activity in order to preserve the company in a way. So then fast forward here today, this is where we left off. So everything is contained in that 43.1, but just with regards to the work done and the projection forward with regards to the magnetometry that we have planned to execute and in this December, mid-December, and then from there, the drilling that we expect to start in Q1 2026.
I mean, so some of the material talks about as many as 8 distinct subparallel shears or vein zones with. I mean, some of the grades were really quite high. Can you kind of give me a breakdown of what it is that you're chasing with the drilling next year? What are you trying to do with that drilling?
So you see, there is the mine itself is an underground mine, small scale mine. It's about at surface a stretch of about 180 meters, and it goes down in 3 levels to about 100 meters. So in 2020, we sent a group of mining engineers into those tunnels to get channel samples from the place, and there really showed up very high-grade values up to 688 grams per ton. And so we could say, okay, what the Alps left behind really is very exciting from our point of view. And then even what they did not dug up because it was not economical back then. So the question then for us today is there continuity beyond those? Even the 2 Southwick vein, which were the productive one, there is a series of, you can see them from surface, you can see a whole set of veins, and as you say, super 8 at least. When I stepped on the property in December last year, 2023, you can see trenches, you can see hole dug all over the place. So there was work, but there is no registry of any result. There is some geochemical understanding of the situation beyond the mined veins, but that's about it. So never has been a drilling going on beyond the oxide zone, and we just don't know how big the system is. So this is certainly one of the most important questions to answer.
You've also got a lot of underground workings, like over 2,000 meters or so, from memory. Is that going to sort of be able to help you accelerate your kind of resource definition when you get there? Is it safe, I guess?
Well, I don't know if gold is a tricky with around gold's tricky situation. You need a lot of drilling to define a resource. So whatever they did in the mention about the 664,000 ounces in the ground is just a reference from the 80s when these guys just took basically the vein as they were and how they have been productive over time. And then they would apply it among all the veins that you can even trace from surface. But that obviously is not compliant. So it's just a reference just to that point. But we don't know what else we can find. And beyond the epithermal kind of low sulfidation deposit that we have, is it part of a bigger system? Is there a porphyry system? As you know, Arizona, and especially Mojave, you have the Walker trend running down from Nevada, and you have the Laramide porphyry arc in that place. Arizona is a big copper producer, and the best reference point for us to that kind of potential, which is an unanswered and unexplored question at this point, we want to change that. But the reference point is Minerals Park, which is just the place by about 27 kilometers from the Rosebud Mine on the other, say, mountain range on the other basically from our project.
Okay, so in terms of I guess you'll have to kind of do a bit of work on in terms of that grade distribution, because some of the grades I've seen is like in and around sort of 10 grams, between sort of 9 grams per ton, 13 grams per ton, but over like 2 meters. So in terms of just chasing those veins down. What type of groundwork have you done to date to maybe help you kind of vector in on some of these higher, more representative, broader zones?
Yeah. So what we try to find obviously is these protozoan or the convergence of different structures. So that's why we do the magnetometry. It's a drone-based magnetometry that we are going to do this December, and we want to tackle those questions: the structure, get a better structural understanding, do a 3D modeling of the contacts, and to understand the structural control of the system, and also hopefully we get insights on the potential of a bigger system. So this is really where we are lacking at this point, beyond the drilling that we did, lacking of an understanding of the system as a whole. And so again, what happened in the past, it was always only focused on the oxide zone and never the sulfides. And we will try to change that, but based on like safe kind of drilling extensional to the known, which is the mined veins and the structure that you can see at surface, and that's what it's coming.
But you've got a lot of targets. I mean, you've got kind of parallel zones off to the west. As you say, there's a sort of potential for stacking. You've got to be really efficient with the allocation of capital, because you're going to need to be able to talk to the market and get them excited about these high grade results you've seen previously, and at the same time kind of start demonstrating the scale potential of this, haven't you? So how do you kind of break down the allocation on the drill modeling and also targeting?
Correct. So what we have budget is about $500,000 US to do the magnetometry, proper mapping of the area beyond the Rosebud Mine itself and the 20 claims that are contained in the whole Mojave project, which is about 590 hectares. And so that systematic work will tell us, also give us an understanding of these, of the inventory of veins, which is the next step. But the really first step is to get an understanding of the continuity along strike of the productive veins to the southeast. And that's the kind of safe or the lowest hanging fruit in terms of drilling that we expect will deliver result, with which we will hope to be able to excite the market, to bring out the story as well. It should help with that. And then really it comes down to get another financing in place to tackle the vein inventory. So understanding in terms of further stepping out along these two productive veins, but then also towards the subparallel vein, so that we get an inventory of vein. That's the kind of systematic work.
And when, given it's the US, people will be thinking, okay, drilling costs won't be helpful here. But to date, well, I think to date, historically, I should say, 200 feet sort of distance. Will you be sort of chasing depth extension, or again just conscious of money and drill costs? What do you think is important?
It will be shallow drilling to begin with, and trying to see that we can hit the two veins to the parallel, right? Both of them. We will also optimize those that drilling in view of our, say, acreage and disturbance, because we are just in the process of the permitting. So we are having a back and forth with the BLM office in Kingman to present the notice of intent to conduct the exploration drilling at this point. So back in 2021, we had a 24-hole program approved already, so it won't take long. That's also why we bridged that time with doing the magnetometry, which is no impact. But yeah, the magnetometry will also help us, hopefully, to optimize the drilling so that we stay within the allowance of the notice of intent. So everything comes together, 3D model, get a better understanding of the structure, drill orientation and maximization, and hopefully we'll find more targets, new targets that were not seen before.
Okay, so there's more analysis and more work to be done in terms of like drone magnetics. And have you got all of the historic data actually incorporated in at the moment, or is there? Do you keep finding more data?
We have most of it. We have included in the 43-101. Basically,
okay.
That desktop study has been done, and it was prepared already back then in 2021. So this was really an update, integrating all the information and put it in also 3D perspective of what drilling was.
Okay. So it's a unified model. Okay, fine. So just laying it, like it's early days, and I think you're setting the scene out here that the idea for you would be to. I always ask people, like, what am I investing into? Are you just saying, look, and we're just going to set this up for someone else to kind of get after? Or are you saying, look, it's produced previously, the grades are good. If we can get this thing to a certain size, maybe there's a chance of tolling, or maybe there's a chance of playing this differently from being a sort of, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of raising money to drill and explore. I mean, how do you see the value being created?
Correct. So yeah, in the first place, value hasn't been realized. As you can see, this is a very small market cap kind of situation. It is a great asset in a small junior like this. So where is the point where it makes sense to do either or? Because there is size, we know that there are ounces to put that somehow in a small scale production kind of scenario. Is it big enough? Can we generate an inventory of vein, and we actually can see that there is a resource potential that comes close to that non-compliant historical reference on what the potential is? So would that then entice people to get and step into? So, but at this point, really, it is a very high-grade asset with 140 years of history in a tiny market cap, in a 4 million market cap. So there is a lot of value that can be unlocked in this situation. And so there's a significant insider shareholding the percentage. There are good investors from Europe that have been positioned. They got in at the same terms and conditions as us, the insiders, so they will have the same chance. So, and then at this point, we have about 42 million shares up, and fully diluted, maybe it goes to 70. With an asset like that, I don't know, to compare that with other peers that are in similar situation, I just think we are extremely undervalued at this point, and it just needs the proper work to unlock that value. And that's what I'm here for in the first place. But we go step by step at this point.
Simon, I appreciate your time today. Interesting, really interesting, especially with these kind of re-entering former producing mines and operations like this. Is it's worked in the past, and your job is to show that it can work in the future. So stay in touch. Let us know how you get on with the drilling next year and everything else. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.